Hey, this is Mohal Joshi from Los Angeles, California. I follow Indian foreign policy and defense with a special focus on Asia. You can follow me on Twitter at Mohal Joshi.
Hey, this is Kishor from Bengaluru in India. I am an international relations expert specializing in global security, conflict resolution, and international negotiation. My focus areas include peace building and digital diplomacy. You can find me on Twitter at Veggie Diplomat. Hello and welcome to episode 51 of India Rising Strategic Affairs Conversations with Mohal and Kishor, a show in which we analyze the happenings from around the world and their impact on India. In this episode, we are going to talk about all the violence and the chaos that erupted in Kathmandu and all over other parts of Nepal following the Gen Z protests and the regime change that has, the so-called regime change that has now happened, and also its ramifications in Nepal and also in the broader South Asia region. So we'll try to dissect what really happened over the 2 days and also prior to that, and then we can look at the context and the backdrop for that. So we all know that the Nepal Supreme Court ordered the government, the Nepali government, to go ahead and ban 29 social media apps. Why? Because they had not established a local office. They had not established or set up a local administrator who could then be summoned by either the government or by the judiciary in case of any offensive post or any offensive content that would be posted on their platform. Now, only Viber and TikTok were spared, but the remaining were all banned on one day, leading to huge protests. And this happened on the September 7th, but this started on the September 7th, but the Gen Z came onto the streets and the protests took a very ugly turn on September 8th. 19 people, 19 youngsters, Gen Z youngsters, including school children in uniform, were dead in police firing, and more than 300 were injured. This inflamed passions even further. Among the politicians, Balendra Shah, the mayor of capital Kathmandu, asked for the resignation of Prime Minister KP Oli, taking responsibility for the death of the Gen Z protesters. On September 9th, by end of day September 8th, the government had backtracked. They had revoked the suspension of the apps, and all these apps were back on by end of day September 8th. However, this kind of helped the Gen Z and all the other protesters to regroup, and they now went for the jugular. They now started asking for a resignation of the Prime Minister KP Oli, including the mayor of Kathmandu, Balendra Shah. On September 9th, the parliament was attacked and burned down. PM's residence was also burned down. Nepal's agriculture minister resigned earlier in the day. By late afternoon, the home minister had resigned, and by late or by early evening, eventually the prime minister himself had to tender his resignation. Now, by this time, the protests were very widespread all over the country, and the protesters had also attacked the Singha Darbar, which is the major administrative complex of the country. And many politicians, both in power and in opposition, were chased out of their houses and beaten up. And all these were shown on TV, shown on social media apps. So the people were seeing the kind of reckless destruction and reckless um, burning down that was happening on both September 8th and September 9th. So Mohal, this was the factual representation of what happened. But what is more important is for us to understand the context and also the backdrop of what all culminated in these protests. So, if we can talk about that, then maybe we can look at the happenings in general.
Yeah, so in Nepal, basically, around 40% of the population is like born after 1997, or what is referred to as Gen Z. So a huge chunk of the population is pretty young. Their median age is even lower than India's. India's is 29, theirs is around 25.3, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a lot of aspirations among the youth. Now, uh, what they saw was that uh, the lot of the nepo kids which was trending on social media, especially on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
they saw that the kids of the political elites, especially uh, the three prime ministers that they had. I mean, it's not that the prime ministers, but in general of the political leaders, they were living very lavish lives abroad, and at home they were like very comfortable while they were struggling. Also, the global crackdown on immigration has made things harder for youth who want to migrate. I mean, as per some estimates, it is estimated that it is said that, sorry, that around 30% of Nepal's citizens work overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe like even like one third of their the remittances are as high as one third of their economy. So obviously there was a trend of Nepalis going abroad, but even that avenue was starting to be clamped down by certain Western nations. So they didn't have like a lack of job. I think their unemployment was also as high as 20% officially. So that's causing a lot of angst among the youth, and they saw these kids living very comfortably, and it became a big thing trending on social media. Now, regarding the political instability, they saw that there was, for the last 10 years, there was a revolving game between the three major leaders. Like one is KP Sharma Oli, who just resigned, who's of the Communist Party of Nepal, Unified Marxist Leninist. There's Pushpa Kamal Dahal, also known as Prachanda, who is part of the Communist Party of Nepal Maoist Center.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is Sher Bahadur Deuba, who's of the Nepali Congress. So if you see, like, I think like there were like I think six different terms for these three men, and they all took turns probably being prime minister twice. So they saw this whole coterie of three of the trio who was in the charge of things, and the people saw that their lives were not improved. Now they had a lot of hopes that in the 2015, when the new constitution was promulgated in Nepal, it was supposed to be a new dawn for democracy, and their lives should have been improved. The 2015 constitution came after the monarchy was abolished in 2006, and they had an interim constitution for a while. So there was a lot of hope and aspirations among the people that the new constitution would make things better. But instead, what happened is they saw that only the elite thrived in this new constitution. I mean, it's kind of little bit ironic that especially KP Oli and Prachanda, who took up like the gun to protest against the incumbent government and the monarchy in the middle of 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
now became the elites just because they were in power. At one time, they were the outsiders. They were fighting for change. They were fighting for the common man, and they wanted to overthrow the monarchy and establish a new uh, a republic, a new republic, which is basically no constitutional monarchy, which existed in Nepal from the quite some time. So instead, they just became the new power elites in Nepal, and the people saw that it was kind of a betrayal that some of these revolutionaries, once they tasted power, they just became part of the same old gang that these guys were trying to overthrow maybe just like 15 years ago. So, I mean, in Nepal has an interesting history. Like in the uh, they had I think like seven different constitutions since like the time like around India became independent. So Nepal was always a independent nation. Obviously, they had they were under the influence of the British when British ruled India, but they had like different constitutions. They had like a constitution 48, 51, 59, 1962, 1990, 2007, and then 2015. So it is, they have like a very a long history, and then we don't know whether this current regime change will bring about a new constitution or not, you know.
Hmm.
So it's just like I mean, this failure is like symbolized uh, by the leader like Prachanda, who was once known for his revolutionary ideals, credentials, is now known more for his personal wealth, which create a sense of disillusionment among the people, especially the youth. Now, all this, as I said, the elections have been fractured among the three establishment parties, and there have been a lot of backroom deals and even public backstabbings. Like one might fight an election with somebody in an alliance, and then he might jump ship with the other guy. So it's just like, I mean, it has more twists than a Bollywood movie, I would think, in or Bollywood OTT series now, as we say. Like they just, it's quite hard to track. I think we would have to devote an entire podcast on how these three people among the six governments since the last 10 years have backstabbed each other and moved each other. Um I mean, how they have like uh, these machinations of like, you know, forming new alliances and new deals to just to stay in power, you know. Also, like with this social media ban, what happened is that many of these Nepalis who were in touch with their relatives abroad and where also their remittances were coming, they were like kind of cut off. So they created like a sense of anger among these people that the elites have been cut off, and even like some, there have been some theories floating out that because the nepo kids was trending on social media, they wanted to control the social media to control the narrative. So that, and on top of that, there have been a long series of corruption scandals in recent years implicating politicians, bureaucrat, and businessmen from the establishment spectrum. It just like reinforced the public's dismal view of the whole system, that like, you know, all of them are corrupt and they are not, they're looking to enrich themselves and they don't care about the people. And then the social media ban was like the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, but this has been brewing for some time.
Hmm.
uh, Now, the interesting part is that there has been like a disorganized groups of young people about the Gen Z protests. So they haven't seen anybody beyond this, like geriatric leaders, like who are maintaining an iron grip on power in a revolving door arrangement
Right.
for decades through a through like a lot of these different outfits. But now they don't have any nostalgia for these revolutionaries because they have seen only uh, the power hungry side of these revolutionary leaders. And yeah, I think this has caused these Gen Z folks to come out on the street in violent anger. Kishore.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, I mean, you painted a kind of a not so rosy picture of how the youth were disillusioned. So, you want to talk about how or what role the Kathmandu mayor Balendra Shah, popularly called Balen, had during the 2 days of protest, and maybe we can talk about him as well a bit.
Yeah, so I'll give a brief background on Balensha and then you can expand on it. So
Hmm.
Balensha is like a former rapper and I believe even an engineer by profession.
Yes.
So he, he is like kind of an outsider, and I think that's what probably his biggest appeal or one of his major appeals was that he was not part of any elite group of politicians. And I believe like was he elected last year, or Kishore, was it 2 years ago? I don't. Anyways, so in a mayoral election in Kathmandu, he was elected as an independent candidate, and none of the establishment political parties could see their candidates win. And he's gained a lot of popularity with the youth. Kishore.
Correct. So, as you rightly pointed out, he is a structural engineer. He comes from a Maithili Madhesi origin. So, He is not Nepali, so to speak, but possibly Hindi may be his mother tongue. Be that as it may, yes, he pitches himself as an outsider. He became the mayor in 2022. He actually immediately after the 2015 devastating earthquake in Nepal, he helped in building a lot of earthquake resistant houses in and around the Kathmandu region, which made him quite popular. And using that and his anti corruption stance, he catapulted to fame. He got elected as an independent mayor of Kathmandu,
Yeah,
and
sorry, it's in 2022. Sorry, go ahead,
2022,
Kishore.
yeah. And immediately after he became the mayor, he I think he tackled these low hanging fruits very effectively. Road traffic control. Everybody knows how traffic is quite deadly in Kathmandu, and he worked hard on getting that. He worked hard on waste management because everybody kept telling that Kathmandu was drowning in filth. So anti-corruption, waste management, road traffic control. So these were his claim to fame, so to speak. And even while these protests were brewing, the Gen Z protests were brewing, he kept. Uh, I mean, he what's the best way to put this? He kept himself endearing to the common masses, telling that I am with you and I support your protests, and I know that this is high time for the uh, politicians to be accountable. So that way, he always made himself relevant. Now, even on the day of the deadly protests where kids in uniform were killed, he upped the ante. He said this is the time for KP Oli to resign since he has blood on his hands. So I think that way he kept making all these smart moves, almost akin to a seasoned politician. So I think that is how he made himself relevant. Now, immediately after KP Sharma Oli's resignation, Balen himself said he will not want to become the interim prime minister. So that way, I think he uh, still made himself more relevant by not becoming the interim prime minister, telling that he did not have enough experience for that post. So I
Yeah,
think
and then also, sorry,
Mhm.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think
And then
that way he is positioning himself for the long term in Nepali politics,
yeah,
and possibly you might hear more from him, where he might want to float a new party, party of the youth, and he might want to become their leader. Mohal.
yeah, I think he's a guy to watch out for the future
Mm-hmm.
because people are fed up with the establishment politicians. So one last thing before like Balensha, like so he's like kind of anti-India. He displayed a
Mm-hmm.
map in his office where he showed parts of India in the northeast as part of Greater Nepal.
Correct.
So and another interesting incident is that the movie Adi Purush. So it was kind of it was he called for a ban in or he didn't allow the in screening in Nepal because he said Sita has been shown to be a daughter of India and Sita is a daughter of Nepal, so he kind of didn't allow the screening of that movie in Nepal. So
Yes, definitely. So, Balencha will continue to be on the headlines. Yes, you were right when you talked about how he had put up a map of Greater Nepal in his mayor office, and also opposed screening the movie Adipurush in Nepal. Now, the backdrop for that also is how India had uh, India had refuted claims of Nepal when they had added Kalapani into their official map, how they had changed their map and how they had added the new map in their coat of arms. So this kind one thing led to another, and because India continued to show Kalapani and the Lipu Lake Pass in their official maps, Balendra Shah thought that this was his way of protesting and showing Greater Nepal in his mayoral office. So that way, there have been a couple of instances where he has displayed anti-India stance, and that is something that India will have to watch out for keenly. Now, another person that I thought would be quite a man of pull. I tweeted about this on the day of the protest as well. Is the RSP head. RSP is the Rashtriya Swatantra Party, which is a pro-monarchy party. Now remember that there have been calls within Nepal to reinstate monarchy, and even in the previous election, 2024, I think, uh, uh, the RSP did well, and 2022, sorry, RSP did well, and they had won about 20 seats with about 10% votes in their kitty. So, because they are a pro-monarchy party, they want they stand out as compared to the other three parties that you mentioned: Congress, CPN, UML, and the Maoist Center. Although immediately after the election, in the Prachanda-led government, Rabi Lamichhane, the head of the RFP, was himself appointed as the deputy prime minister. But that alliance or that government did not last long, and Rabi Lamichhane had to step down from the post of the deputy prime minister. Be that as it may, the funny part is that he was jailed after being convicted for a corporation fund scam or a corporation bank fund scam, and he was in the jail during the day of the protest. Now we all know that there were multiple jail breaks or multiple prison breaks all across Nepal, and Rabi Lamichhane himself had come out of the jail claiming that he was not safe within the four walls of the jail. Now, upon being questioned more intently, he showed a fake letter from the warden telling or allowing him to get out of the jail. And immediately after that, the jail warden said that he had not written any such letter. So Rabi Lamichhane has now made a big deal of this, and he has walked back into the jail on his birthday, telling this is a big birthday gift that he is giving for himself. Although it sounds funny, but this kind of shows how every politician or every wannabe politician comes into the political system, be it Prachanda, be it KP Oli, be it Rabi Lamichhane. They all come in promising a lot of good things, but immediately after coming in, they start amassing wealth and making themselves distant from the common public. And that is why um Balendra also has his work cut out not to be cast in the same frame. Now, whatever happened this, but what next is more important for India as well. On the evening or on the night of September 9th, after KP Sharma Oli had resigned, the army general came on TV, came on social media, and said that they were in favor of stopping the violence, and they would come onto the street to restore law and order, and they would want parliament to be the sole decision maker in the country, which kind of was a good thing to happen, simply because we did not want another military dictatorship. So this allowed the Gen Z people to to put forth their demand completely. A, they wanted an interim prime minister. B, they wanted restoration of monarchy. And C, they wanted no more than 2 terms for any prime minister. But everything was okay except for dissolution of the parliament, which became a bone of contention for both the president and the Genhi protesters. Eventually, everybody agreed, relented to the Genhi demand, and now we have an interim prime minister, retired Chief Justice Sushila Karki, who is now the interim prime minister. She has full backing of the president and the army chief, and all major political outfits have now expressed their support to the interim prime minister. And the latest news is that President Ramchandra Paudel has announced the date for the new election to be held on March 5th, 2026. Additionally, he has appealed for calm and urged the citizens to make the best use of the upcoming elections. As I told, this followed the dissolution of the House of Representatives as recommended by the PM Sushila Karki. And 8 parties, including the Nepal Congress, have now urged President to withdraw the decision to dissolve the House of Representatives, calling it an attack on constitutional supremacy and people's right to vote. But I don't think that'll amount to much. We will have new elections in Nepal on the 5th of March. But also, what is important is how the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had congratulated Sushila Karki and expressed his solidarity with the people of Nepal, referring to them as brothers and sisters. He has also claimed that he stands with the people of Nepal. But additionally, what also is important or what also is concerning for India is how the Genhi protests were kind of taken over by rowdy elements. We saw people brandishing assault rifles, AK-47s, double-barrel guns, and also went straight to the prisons, burning them down, getting the prison inmates out into the open. So I think also attacking the Hilton Hotel in downtown Kathmandu, attacking people of Indian origin, attacking commercial establishments of Indians there. So I think all these are very. I think they'll all be keenly watched in India. India would want the Nepali establishment to safeguard these people of Indian origin or people of Indian roots to be protected even during the lead up to the election. Mohal, you have anything to add?
Yeah, so also yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
actually, or it will be today, depending on which part of the world you're in. So Prime Minister Modi, when he was in Imphal,
Hmm.
during a visit, he also said that there was hailed a new dawn in Nepal,
Right.
and also he said that he highlighted that uh, uh, some developments like which and I'm paraphrasing it like that developments which had not received much attention. He said like for the past 2 3 days, young men and women have been diligently cleaning and painting the streets with a spirit of dedication and purity. So basically, he was just praising the positive, the constructive work that was being done
Hmm.
by the Nepali youth. I mean, just trying to build bridges with the new administration and making sure that the Gen Z people are on the side of India. So
Yeah.
it was something
Also,
interesting.
yeah. Also, this is an opportunity for India to kind of show to the Gen Z, show the Nepali youth that the Indian government stands with them, especially after the Madhesi riots that we saw in 2015,
Hmm.
where India was rightfully or wrongfully uh, uh, blamed for all the economic blockade that happened on the border between India and Nepal. So, yeah, I think this is a perfect opportunity for PM Modi and also the Indian government to stand with the Nepali youth. Okay, so we'll continue watching this. We'll continue to see how the Western world, the US, India, all the other nations in general, and also China, more importantly, how they will all react to happening in Nepal. We'll come back to Nepal if and when there is anything more important to cover. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up. Mohal, anything more that you want to add?
No, it'll be interesting to see like how the elections. I mean, interestingly, there are going to be elections in two of the Indian subcontinent nations. Like one will be in Bangladesh in February 2026,
Right.
and we'll now have elections in Nepal in March 2026. So it'll be interesting to see like after a violent regime changes, what will happen. I mean, we just saw in Sri Lanka last year where the upstart JVB party and Disanayake was elected as a complete outsider as a new president. So will be an outsider in Bangladesh and in Nepal, or will it be one of the establishment politicians?
Yeah, also need to see if Balendra Shah will start his own party as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
so, okay, that, dear listeners, wraps up today's episode where we spoke about the regime change in Nepal, the violence, how Gen Z came onto the streets, and how we now are on the verge of a new election in Nepal. To continue hearing about such interesting topics, do subscribe to our channel, India Rising, wherever you are listening to us. We would also like to hear from you if you have any suggestions on any topics that you would like us to cover. Do remember that these topics should be directly related to Indian foreign policy. Until the next episode, this is Mohal and Kishor signing off.